Like this, and when we came back, it was too late to play because although I'm allowed, I don't want to be a pain to my neighbors, so I am quite careful with this. I wanted to just talk a tiny bit about what's going to happen this week, because I like to plan my weeks on Sunday, and I'm going to try to do a bit more playing. I'm going to try to kick it up to 1 hour. If I could do a half an hour of technique and then a bit of play and record a movement from what I practice. The reason I'm gonna adapt my schedule so that I can do 1 hour, because 20 to 30 minutes it's really not enough. And hearing myself play, I'm a little bit frustrated, because at first it was fun, but now that I'm doing it a bit more, not to be comfortable technically, and it's just very, it restrains you from playing what you want to play. For example, this on the Courante, my fingers again, they're not very coordinated. My lower register is not, it's non-existent. It's really not very good, and I'm starting to lose the pleasure of playing because my technique is not up to my personal standard. And so I'm gonna try to organize my time so that I have more to practice. And so, as I said, I'm gonna try to do half an hour of a good warm-up, a good technique, and then I'll do a bit of playing, and I'll do that for some time. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my good old books, and so of course I'm gonna start with the Arban Method, because there's everything that you can possibly need in there, and it's a great resource to get back into shape and to get your technique back together, especially for what I want, which is tongue coordination, lip-tongue finger coordination, and also I'm going to do my lip flexibilities with the Colin's book. And maybe I'll also record a few of those exercises just to kind of show you how I plan on getting back in shape. And then I have this third book by Alan Vizzutti. It's the book number 1, book 1. I used to do this when I was a student in Manchester with Stephen Mead and Dave Thornton. And this is when I bought this book. It's really kind of cool because there's quite a few different variations from Clark technical study, you know, so this one, number 2 from the Clark. It's in major, in minor, in whole tone, in dominant, in diminished, and so it's cool to shake things up. And also what I like about this book is that there are those finger flexibilities. I don't know if you can see it, finger flexibility exercises, and they are quite cool, and I've not done that for ages. And you know, I feel my fingers are out of control. They're like, when I was playing this Courante, they're out of control, so they're just going faster than my brain. I'm trying to slow down, and the technique I'm using kind of to slow down is to really bang my fingers on the valve so that I gain control. But I know that I have to do some exercises. So today I'm gonna do quite a few of those finger flexibilities. It's quite hard. It can get quite frustrating when there's some difficult fingerings that you can't really do. But you know, practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes it better. And the third book that I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do everything, but it's just this tuba book, Kopprasch 60 selected studies for B flat tuba, and it's good to again build a little bit of finger coordination, but also it's a tuba book, so there's quite a lot of low register stuff, which is what I'm looking for. Also, I need to dig back into my lower register. I have another book here, somewhere here, from my bass trombone collection. It's the Charles Vernon book. He's a bass trombone player from the Chicago Symphony, and there's some good exercises for low register studies. There you go. So basically it's just arpeggios going up and down, but you know, if you don't have so much time and you don't really want to think too much and be creative, you just read it off the book. But it is mostly arpeggios and some flexibilities coming from pedal notes. So starting with pedal B flat, I'm talking C now, pedal B flat, and going back and going down to the pedal E, which for me is quite natural to do on my bass trombone, but also I play on a much bigger mouthpiece. But on the euphonium it's very different. There are two different things that are striking me right now from going from bass trombone to euphonium. First of all is the air pressure is radically different. That's because the euphonium is conical and the bass trombone is cylindrical. It's just not at all the same way of blowing. So if you blow the same way in the euphonium that you would blow in the bass trombone, it's just going to be like, it's going to sound like really tight, really aggressive, which I got also on my Courante. If you heard my low E's, for example, they were like, bah, it was really ugly. And this is because I'm not in control so much of the pressure of the air that goes into the instrument. It's still very bass trombone-y, and it doesn't work on the euphonium. It sounds bad, but also it doesn't produce a full note. So this is very different. And the second thing, and of course the mouthpiece size. I play on bass trombone. I play on a Greg Black 1G, which is like it's a bit bigger than a Bach 1G. And here on euphonium, I'm used to playing on this, I used to play on this when I played Euphonium back when I was a student. Can you see it? Yeah. It's Denis Wick Ultra Stephen Mead mouthpiece, the SM4U. But it's actually much smaller. It's too small for me. So I'm actually going to be selling it. If anybody wants to buy it, send me a message. And then I tried going down, up in size to the Bach, Vincent Bach 3G. But this, I don't know, it doesn't sound so great on Euphonium. It's really not meant to. I don't know if you can see the difference in the bore. The shape is very different. This is much more cylindrical, and this is a bit more conical, and you can see it. You can see it when you look inside. I mean, obviously here on the camera you can't see it, you'll just have to take my word for it. And right now what I'm playing on, I think you've seen I have like this huge chunky mouthpiece. It's not great for euphonium, but for the size it's something that I find is quite, it's quite good for me right now, especially because I'm switching from such a big mouthpiece to such to a much smaller mouthpiece, and this is a Georg Black 2G heavy. I can show it to you. It's this one. So no, my the focus on the camera is having a super hard time. Anyway, it's this, and it is Georg Black 2G. I have my initials on it, which is pretty cool. But it is huge. I don't know if you can see the difference in sizes between the SM4 and this Georg Black 2G. It is much bigger. It is much deeper, and the bore is bigger, as you can see. This is I got this when I started switching from valve trombone to bass trombone. First I went to the 3G, and then very quickly it was not enough for my low register, so I went to the Georg Black 2G, which is a really good mouthpiece, but again it was still a little bit too small for real orchestral, German orchestral bass trombone playing. So I went down the range to a 1G, or up in size, and lower in chunkiness, lower in weight. This is the heavyweight version of the Georg Black 2G, and it's a good mouthpiece when you do Wechsel. So when you go from bass trombone to tenor trombone. And on valve trombone I used to play, and tenor trombone I used to play on Monet Pana 6, so it's much smaller. And this is why I didn't, and I was still playing a lot. I still had a lot of gigs with my trio. I released a CD and we had quite a lot of concerts, and at the same time I was picking up the bass trombone, so I had to find something in the middle. So I couldn't go like straight to a huge size. And now I'm euphonium. I mean, I'm gonna play a little bit and I'm gonna wait a few weeks and a few months, and then I'll probably be trying some new mouthpieces and some specific mouthpieces to euphonium. Of course I'm gonna try the SMU3, which is bigger than the 4. So yeah, if anybody wants to buy this, I've said it before but I'll say it again, I'm gonna sell it, and as you can see it's in perfect condition. It's the Ultra 4 from Stephen Mead collection. And the reason I'm selling it is, as I said, it's just too small for me, but that is because I have gotten used to playing on much larger mouthpieces. And I'm gonna probably get the same model one size bigger, so the SM3U. Gold or silver? This is a question that a lot of people ask. I use gold because I play in different conditions, and sometimes we play in the winter in churches that are not very well warmed up, not very well heated, and when you have to play like 15 Mozart requiems in the month, and per month for the whole winter, and you need a mouthpiece that gets warm fast, and I find that it's much easier to play in cold churches with a gold mouthpiece than with a silver mouthpiece, because the gold, it gets warm faster, and then I feel that it stays warm longer. I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion, you can comment on that, but this is my experience with it. This is why I always go on gold now, and also I just find it more comfortable on the lips. I don't know, maybe it's not true, maybe it's just more expensive, so my brain is telling me that it's better, like when I don't know anything about wines, but I find the more expensive one better. But I don't think so. I think there is really a different sensation to the gold and the silver, and also I have quite sensitive skin, and I feel that I get less small rashes with gold than with silver. But again, this is a very personal thing. I saw a post not long ago on the Euphonium group in Facebook, somebody asking about mouthpieces. And again, if you want to get a mouthpiece, if you want to switch mouthpieces, you have to try them. It's better to get like a lower, not quality, because I mean they're all pretty good quality mouthpieces, but a lower end, I don't know how to say it, but you know what I mean, like a cheaper one that you can find somewhere next to you where you can try it, then go for the really sophisticated ones, like the Greg Blacks or whatever, or the Monets, and if you can't, try them, because it's very, very personal. I know that my Monet mouthpiece, I paid like 350 euros, which is a lot of money for a mouthpiece, and it suited me, but some friends tried it and it was really not good for them. So you don't want to spend 100, 200, 300, 350 euros on a mouthpiece if you're not sure that it will be good for you. And it can be good for the best players in the world, but maybe it's not good for you because you don't have the same teeth, you don't have the same shape of your mouth, you don't have the same facial hair. For me it counts a lot. You don't have the same air, you don't have the same position. Nobody is completely straight in the middle. So if you're like slightly to the left, slightly to the right, your front teeth are slightly pivoted or whatever, it's very, very personal. So just try the mouthpieces, try what's good for you, and don't buy without trying. This is an advice I would give. Here on the Euphonium group you don't see it so much, but if you go on the bass trombone group, or there's a trombone equipment group, and people selling tons of mouthpieces, and that's because they buy without trying, and then after a few weeks they sell it, and of course they have to sell it for a much lower price. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. This video is starting to be really, really long and not so interesting, so I'm going to stop right now. I just wanted to say that today is Sunday, so I'm planning on my week, and the plan for this week is to jump up my practice time from 20-30 minutes to 1 hour. And this is not because I want to get back into playing professionally the euphonium, not at all. It's not because I want to teach. I'm not in that position. And I have a job that I enjoy doing. But I think it's interesting, and I have gotten some positive comments and people saying, "Hey, it's cool that you're sharing this." So I'm going to continue to do it, and I'm going to try to give as many tips as I can, and if you have any questions, just ask. And this kind of thing, I think I've covered pretty much everything. So I am going to continue. I'm going to play before and then talk, so you can just skip it, because I talk too much and I mumble so much. So that's it. I'm going to just cut it now. Talk to you tomorrow. We'll be playing the saraband and doing a few exercises. If you want to join me, we can do them together. Take care, have a good Sunday, and I'll see you soon.